Just a quick piece of review for those who don't know in this room. The way that our reporting works is that when a sale occurs online for an advertiser, the technology simply goes back upstream in that consumer's history, and the last click or the last ad that's associated with that user gets attributed with that sale. Right? Whether it's a sale or whether it's a lead or a download of a white paper, whatever it is that the advertiser is using to measure success, that is how simple our rules are. And that's virtually how all of our reporting systems work today in terms of measuring the accountability of digital advertising. Right? You don't have to be in our industry, you don't have to be in marketing to realize that there's a lot more going on than that. Right? Consumers get this. Right? People are seeing ads across many, many sites, across many, many channels, right, over extended periods of time. And all of those different touch points are making a difference. All of those touch points are creating value. Okay? So the question then becomes, right, as we move into the next decade of this industry, is there a way for us to actually take all those touch points, take all that data that we're actually already collecting right now, and help us make better decisions from a marketing standpoint? And the answer, fortunately, is absolutely, absolutely yes. Before we get into that, I want to go through 3 quick pieces of research before I get to an actual case study from advertisers who have actually gone beyond this last ad, as well as a recent study that we just published this week. The first number, and this is a number that if there's a single number that I hope you guys walk away from this session with, it's this number, 94. The first question we wanted to answer when we started going down this path was, well, how much more data is there beyond that last ad? Right? How many more touch points is there between a given advertiser and this consumer with their campaign out on the internet? Okay? And when you go and you go past that last ad and you actually quantify all those different touch points, on average, there's about 94% more touch points, that impressions, clicks, interactions, all those types of things with that consumer beyond that last click. Okay, so that's about 15, 16 times more data that's out there that's completely being ignored with that hyper-focus on that last click. Another number that's very important. You know, agencies and advertisers and publishers talk about all the time, you know, integrated marketing, you know, synergy between different channels, right? Holistic marketing and holistic views of the customer, right? Great words, great buzzwords, right? Very intuitive thought. Very few people are actually quantifying that synergy between channels. And so we actually sought out to actually answer that question. Is there an actual synergy or combined effect between search and display, 2 of the biggest, most prominent digital channels? And so what we did was we took, for 11 different advertisers, all the people who were clicking on their sponsored search ads, and we put them into 2 buckets. Search clickers who were exposed to display ads from the advertiser, and search clickers who weren't exposed by display ads from that advertiser. And then we looked at their downstream results to see if there was any impact on sales. And in fact, that's what this 22% number is. The sponsored search clickers who were also exposed to display advertising had a 22% increase in their probability to actually convert, to actually turn into a sale for that advertiser. So that synergistic effect that we all know is happening, that we all know intuitively is there, is absolutely there and is happening. The question, though, is who's getting credit for that 22%? Anyone? Search. That's right. Because the way that our rules work is that in reporting, clicks trump views. So if there's a click in the user's history, a consumer can be exposed to 50, 80, 100 different ads, but none of those ads will get any credit because of the search click. One more piece of research before we keep going. Navigational search. My wife recently showed me the digital camera that she wanted to buy to replace the one that we dropped on the ground 30 times. And she fired up her browser, typed in Best Buy into the browser, hit return, and clicked the link at the top of the page, and then proceeded to show me the camera that we ended up buying. And what struck me was, well, besides the fact that that probably cost Best Buy $0.25 for that click, was that she had actually taken that exact same path 3 or 4 times before she actually bought the camera, because that's how she got there in the first place. And so she was simply using those search ads to navigate back to the website that she had intended to go. And we see this in our logs. We see this in the logs that we collect for our advertisers when we're tracking their search campaigns. And so what we decided to do as a study is, how often does that happen? And we segmented the total sponsored search clicks across 30 different advertisers 2 ways. One was how often there are branded search terms, right? The exact brand name of the advertiser, right? And what percentage of clicks actually make up those types of sponsored search ads. And then the other segmentation was, how many times is that repeated, right? Is that same exact path taken again and again and again? Because that's, again, how the consumers actually learned how to get to the advertiser's website. So the answer to the first question is about 60%. About 60% of total sponsored search clicks are on the exact word, the brand name of the advertiser, or their URL. Like people literally typing in www.bestbuy.com in their search engine instead of in the URL bar. Okay? So almost 2/3 of total sponsored search clicks. The answer to the second question, in terms of how many times are people actually taking the exact same path, not for the first time, but the second, third, fourth, fifth time to get back to an advertiser's website. And that's almost half. Okay, so you can take this to the logical extreme and say, wow, about 71% of total sponsored search clicks are navigational in nature, meaning the consumer is going to a place that they had already intended to go. Now, when we published this research, it was a little bit controversial. People were like, oh, you're just bashing search, and are you saying that people shouldn't be, that those clicks aren't worth anything? Absolutely not. Any advertiser, any brand wants to make it easy for consumers to find their website. There's no question about that. This is money well spent as far as I'm concerned. The issue that we have with navigational search is that because search engines have become so good at targeting these ads, and consumers have become so accustomed to using these ads to get to the advertisers' websites, it completely obliterates all the value that's being created from all the other digital marketing that we're doing. So again, if you create engagement, if you're creating sponsorships, if you're reaching your target consumer out on the web, right, through video, through rich media, and you're getting them to interact, you're getting them to actually click on some of your ads, if they ultimately use a search ad to get to your website, which is happening more and more, all of that value is obscured.